Letters of Two Brides by Honoré de Balzac. Letter 2. The Same to the Same, November 25th. Next day I found my rooms done out and dusted, and even flowers put in the vases by old Philippe. I began to feel at home. Only it didn't occur to anybody that a Carmelite schoolgirl has an early appetite, and Rose had no end of trouble in getting breakfast for me. "Mademoiselle goes to bed at dinner time," she said to me, "and gets up when the Duke is just returning home." I began to write. About 1 o'clock my father knocked at the door of the small drawing-room and asked if he might come in. I opened the door. He came in and found me writing to you. "My dear," he began, "you will have to get yourself clothes, and to make these rooms comfortable. In this purse you will find 12,000 francs, which is the yearly income I propose allowing you for your expenses. You will make arrangements with your mother as to some governess whom you may like, in case Miss Griffith doesn't please you, for Madame de Chaulieu will not have time to go out with you in the mornings. A carriage and manservant shall be at your disposal." "Let me keep Philippe," I said. "So be it," he replied, "but don't be uneasy. You have money enough of your own to be no burden either to your mother or me." "May I ask how much I have?" "Certainly, my child," he said. "Your grandmother left you 500,000 francs. This was the amount of her savings, for she would not alienate a foot of land from the family. This sum has been placed in government stock, and, with the accumulated interest, now brings in about 40,000 francs a year. With this I had proposed making an independence for your second brother, and it is here that you have upset my plans. Later, however, it is possible that you may fall in with them. It shall rest with yourself, for I have confidence in your good sense far more than I had expected. I do not need to tell you how a daughter of the Chaulieus ought to behave. The pride so plainly written in your features is my best guarantee. Safeguards, such as common folk surround their daughters with, would be an insult in our family. A slander reflecting on your name might cost the life of the man bold enough to utter it, or the life of one of your brothers, if by chance the right should not prevail. No more on this subject. Goodbye, little one." He kissed me on the forehead and went out. I cannot understand the relinquishment of this plan after 9 years' persistence in it. My father's frankness is what I like. There is no ambiguity about his words. My money ought to belong to his Marquis son. Who, then, has had bowels of mercy? My mother? My father? Or could it be my brother? I remained sitting on my grandmother's sofa, staring at the purse which my father had left on the mantelpiece, at once pleased and vexed that I could not withdraw my mind from the money. It is true, further speculation was useless. My doubts had been cleared up, and there was something fine in the way my pride was spared. Philippe has spent the morning rushing about among the various shops and workpeople who are to undertake the task of my metamorphosis. A famous dressmaker, by name Victorine, has come, as well as a woman for underclothing and a shoemaker. I am as impatient as a child to know what I shall be like when I emerge from the sack which constituted the conventual uniform, but all these tradespeople take a long time. The corset maker requires a whole week if my figure is not to be spoilt. You see, I have a figure, dear. This becomes serious. Jansen, the operatic shoemaker, solemnly assures me that I have my mother's foot. The whole morning has gone in these weighty occupations. Even a glove maker has come to take the measure of my hand. The underclothing woman has got my orders. At the meal which I call dinner, and the others lunch, my mother told me that we were going together to the milliner's to see some hats, so that my taste should be formed, and I might be in a position to order my own. This burst of independence dazzles me. I am like a blind man who has just recovered his sight. Now I begin to understand the vast interval which separates a Carmelite sister from a girl in society. Of ourselves we could never have conceived it. During this lunch my father seemed absent-minded, and we left him to his thoughts. He is deep in the king's confidence. I was entirely forgotten, but from what I have seen, I have no doubt he will remember me when he has need of me. He is a very attractive man in spite of his 50 years. His figure is youthful. He is well made, fair, and extremely graceful in his movements. He has a diplomatic face, at once dumb and expressive. His nose is long and slender, and he has brown eyes. What a handsome pair! Strange thoughts assail me as it becomes plain to me that these two, so perfectly matched in birth, wealth, and mental superiority, live entirely apart and have nothing in common but their name. The show of unity is only for the world. The cream of the court and diplomatic circles were here last night. Very soon I am going to a ball given by the Duchesse de Maufrigneuse, and I shall be presented to the society I am so eager to know. A dancing master is coming every morning to give me lessons, for I must be able to dance in a month, or I can't go to the ball. Before dinner, my mother came to talk about the governess with me. I have decided to keep Miss Griffith, who was recommended by the English ambassador. Miss Griffith is the daughter of a clergyman. Her mother was of good family, and she is perfectly well bred. She is 36, and will teach me English. The good soul is quite handsome enough to have ambitions. She is Scotch, poor and proud, and will act as my chaperone. She is to sleep in Rose's room. Rose will be under her orders. I saw at a glance that my governess would be governed by me. In the 6 days we have been together, she has made very sure that I am the only person likely to live in her, while for my part I have ascertained that, for all her statuesque features, she will prove accommodating. She seems to me a kindly soul, but cautious. I have not been able to extract a word of what passed between her and my mother. Another trifling piece of news. My father has this morning refused the appointment as Minister of State which was offered him. This accounts for his preoccupied manner last night. He says he would prefer an embassy to the worries of public debate. Spain, in especial, attracts him. This news was told me at lunch, the one moment of the day when my father, mother, and brother see each other in an easy way. The servants then only come when they are rung for. The rest of the day my brother, as well as my father, spends out of the house. My mother has her toilet to make. Between 2 and 4 she is never visible. At 4 o'clock she goes out for an hour's drive. When she is not dining out, she receives from 6 to 7, and the evening is given to entertainments of various kinds: theatres, balls, concerts, and homes. In short, her life is so full that I don't believe she ever has a quarter of an hour to herself. She must spend a considerable time dressing, for at night, which takes place between 11 and 12, she is exquisite. The meaning of the things that are said about her is dawning on me. She begins the day with a bath barely warm, and a cup of cold coffee with cream. Then she dresses. She is never, except on some great emergency, called before 9 o'clock. In summer there are morning rides, and at 2 o'clock she receives a young man whom I have never yet contrived to see. Behold our family life. We meet at lunch and dinner, though often I am alone with my mother at this latter meal, and I foresee that still oftener I shall take it in